At the edge of Farmer Giles's sun-drenched meadow lived 3 rabbit siblings: Pip, the quick-thinking leader; Clover, the kind and clever heart of the family; and young Moss, whose love for carrots was matched only by his big heart. Their lives were about to get much more exciting. Every year, Farmer Giles hosted the Great Carrot Contest, a celebration of skill, speed, and spirit. He didn't mind the forest creatures joining in. He believed a little friendly competition was good for everyone, and he had plenty of carrots to spare for the winner. The grand prize was the stuff of legend, the golden carrot, said to be the sweetest, crunchiest carrot in the entire county. For Pip, Clover, and Moss, winning it would be the ultimate dream. They decided, right then and there, that they would enter together. But they weren't the only ones interested in the contest. From the shadows watched Barnaby the wolf. He didn't care about the carrot, he cared about the contestants. He saw the contest not as a game, but as the perfect opportunity to set a trap for a 3-course rabbit dinner. The first challenge was the famous hedge maze, a twisting, turning puzzle of green that required a sharp mind and even sharper senses. The first team to reach the sundial in the center would win the first round. The rabbits huddled, forming a quick plan. Barnaby had already slipped into the maze, his mind buzzing with a devious idea. He created a false trail, a shortcut that wasn't a shortcut at all. He imagined the rabbits, lost and confused, walking right into a corner where he would be waiting for them. But the rabbits were smarter than he thought. Pip used landmarks to navigate. Clover remembered the farmer's map, and Moss smelled the faint, musky scent of wolf near the fake trail. Working together, they easily ignored the trick and stayed on the right path, leaving Barnaby waiting in an empty dead end. The second challenge was to build the most creative scarecrow to protect the pumpkin patch. While other teams focused on being scary, the rabbits decided to make theirs friendly, believing that kindness could be just as effective. They worked in perfect harmony. Seeing the rabbits succeeding again, Barnaby grew impatient. He decided a more direct approach was needed. If he couldn't trick them, he would simply scare them away. He donned a disguise he thought was absolutely terrifying and prepared to ruin their creation. But Clover had found a shiny piece of metal to use as a button for the scarecrow's coat. As Barnaby lunged forward, he caught sight of his own ghostly reflection. He yelped in terror, convinced a real monster was after him, and fled the patch, once again outsmarted by the quick-witted rabbits. It all came down to the final challenge, the Great Carrot Harvest. The goal was simple: be the first team to harvest 20 carrots and cross the finish line. The golden carrot gleamed in the afternoon sun, almost within their grasp. This was Barnaby's last chance. He had spent the morning setting up his master plan, a net perfectly positioned to drop on the rabbits the moment they crossed the finish line. He hid in the bushes, holding the rope, his mouth watering in anticipation. The race began, and the rabbits were a blur of motion. Their teamwork was flawless, and they quickly pulled ahead of all the other teams. They were so focused, so in sync, that they didn't seem to notice the wolf's trap waiting just ahead, but Pip's eyes missed nothing. Just as they were about to make their final dash, he saw it a thin rope snaking across their path. He knew instantly it was another of Barnaby's tricks. He signaled to Clover and Moss, a new, daring plan forming in his mind. Instead of crossing the finish line, they backed up. They found a fallen log and a sturdy plank, creating a makeshift catapult. With a shared nod, they aimed their heavy wheelbarrow not at the finish line, but directly at Barnaby's trigger rope. With a mighty heave, little Moss jumped onto the plank. The wheelbarrow soared through the sky, a cascade of orange and green against the blue. It flew over the finish line, landing with a soft thud on the other side, their 20 carrots safely delivered. Barnaby watched, stunned. He couldn't believe his eyes. He had been so focused on the rabbits that he completely forgot about the flying wheelbarrow. What he didn't realize was that it wasn't the target. The real projectile was the plank itself. After launching its cargo, it flipped end over end and landed with a loud thwack, directly on the tripwire. In the bushes, Barnaby felt the rope jerk violently from his paws as his own trap was sprung. The net dropped exactly as planned, but his target was all wrong. It fell with a whoosh right on top of the wolf's hiding spot, entangling him in his own clever device. He was caught, wrapped up like a leftover sandwich. A great commotion brought Farmer Giles and everyone else running. There, tangled in his own net, was a very embarrassed Barnaby the wolf. The farmer shook his head, a wide smile spreading across his face. He finally understood who the real troublemaker was. With the wolf safely incapacitated, Pip, Clover, and Moss calmly hopped across the finish line. They hadn't just won the race, they had done it with brains, bravery, and most importantly, by sticking together. Farmer Giles declared the rabbit siblings the undisputed winners of the Great Carrot Contest. He praised their cleverness and teamwork, handing them the magnificent golden carrot. It was even more glorious than they had imagined. As for Barnaby, he received not a prize, but a gentle scolding from Farmer Giles about the spirit of fair play. Defeated and humiliated, the wolf slunk back into the forest, having learned that cunning is no match for true cooperation. The golden carrot was too big for just 3 small rabbits. But that was exactly their plan. They weren't taking it to their burrow to hoard. They were taking it to the heart of the forest for a celebration for everyone. And so, the golden carrot was shared by all. The rabbits had won the prize, but they knew the real victory was in sharing their good fortune. They had proven that the greatest rewards aren't the ones you keep for yourself, but the ones that bring everyone together. And in Sun Petal Meadow, that was the sweetest prize of all.